So hey everybody, I am here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. I'm on the Kankomegus Highway. I think before I leave this state, I'm going to find out how it's actually pronounced. And I am on my way to Bethel, Maine. I've got plenty of time to get there, so it's nice to be able to stop a little bit along the way. There are a lot of distractions, a lot of beauty. There are a lot of hiking trails along here, and I'm making a mental note. I'm going to stop at least one of them on my way back tomorrow. The colors are spectacular. There's a little mist in the air. The colors are super saturated. I'm very excited about this. I think I planned this just right. I'm at a rest stop. It's very crowded here, but I'm sort of off in a corner. But there are a lot of people out today, a lot of people out and about, a lot of people from different countries, as I can pick up. And it's quite beautiful. I'm really glad to be here. So, onward and upward, or maybe downward at this point, I don't know. Down and then up again? Okay, see you in a few minutes or so. I mean, really, just look at this color. Super saturated by the mist and the moisture. And oh dear, God help me, but I see a brook down below. Am I going to have to go down there and take a long exposure shot? I think I might. I don't know if you can see it. Let's take a closer look. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The other thing I'm glad I did, even though it seemed like overkill at the time, was to bring all three of my tripods. So I've got the little Joby perched on a rock. I don't know if this is called a gorilla pod or what it is, but it's got three very flexible legs, and I can configure them and bend them any way I want. And I think I might have to get out the big tripod and a longer lens and the neutral density filter and see if I can grab a long exposure here. This is just beautiful. Okay, so now I'm down at the edge of this brook or stream or river, or whatever they're called. You can tell I'm an island girl. We don't have too many brooks or streams or rivers on the Vineyard. And I'm going to I'm going to make an attempt at some long exposure photography. I've got my number 10 B&W neutral density filter, and I'm going to give this a whirl. I haven't done a lot of long exposure photography in my long career of taking pictures, so this is somewhat experimental. I guess I could just sit here and listen to the babble of this brook, of these waters. And again, if I end up with good photographs and enjoyable video, all the better. But for me, it's about getting out here and being renewed, breathing in the fresh air, taking in the colors. Changing the scenery a little bit. Just beautiful. So I think I got a couple of good long exposure shots. And again, the thing that I'm trying to get used to is how long everything takes. All of this is new to me, the video, the long exposure, and the time it takes to set up the tripod and change settings between video recording and manual shooting, and making sure that the camera doesn't fall in the river, and making sure I don't drop this gorgeous, expensive piece of glass that I'm holding in my hands. I'm accustomed to just walking around with a camera for the last 50 years and just taking it out and pointing it and fiddling with a few dials and then taking a picture. So this is definitely different. And it's okay, I'm not complaining. I love it. I'm really enjoying this. And whether anybody else enjoys it, if somebody does, all the better. I think I have 84 followers on YouTube, and most of them are left over from years ago. And that's fine. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I love the art of it. I love the technology. I love getting out here. I love exploring. I love using my body, hiking, climbing up. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get back up this bank, but I did. I'm not getting any younger, you know. Yeah, why am I doing this? I've been thinking about that lately, and one of the reasons that I came up with is, you know, I think photography is a little bit like trying to slice a little bit of immortality. Woody Allen was famous for saying, I don't want to be immortal because of my works. I want to be immortal by living forever. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to live forever on this plane, maybe on another plane, but when I do this, there's a piece of me that's going to live on, and my grandkids, you're good, it's all good. My grandkids might watch these videos and get a glimpse of what their grandparents or great-grandparents, what their great-grandmother or their great-grandmother was like. And so it also keeps me from getting too absorbed with the negativity that's in the world. The whole creative process just is so absorbing and so engaging that it's really hard to think about anything else. Hey, do you want me to take your picture? I'd love that. Okay. So hey everybody, I am here at my actual destination. I'm outside of Bethel, Maine. And why Bethel, you might ask? Well, I went to school in Bethel. I went to high school for a couple of years in Bethel. And so and that was about, it shocks me to say the number, but that was 50 years ago, all right? And so coming back here is a little bit like a homecoming. There's some familiar places, obviously, and I like to go where I have a connection. And even when I go to Ireland, I go to the same town and I stay there for a couple of weeks at a time, and I get to know everybody and try to fit in with the locals and whatnot. But Bethel is a very pretty little town. It's in the western mountains of Maine. And already even the lady who owns the motel remembers me from school. So here we are, back home. Anyway, I'm on the side of, I'm about to head up this mountain trail, and I'm carrying a big pack. I didn't weigh it, but I know it weighs more than a big bag of dog food. But it's a pack made by Mindshift. And I have to say, the way it's designed with the waist belt and this thing across here, I can carry a lot of weight and go for quite a while. But, you know, it's one thing to hike on the Vineyard where everything is kind of flat. I'm going to be going up the side of a mountain, and there is a riverbed made of stone that cascades down. And what I'm after is a waterfall. And I was here a couple of years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, at one of my high school reunions. And I guess I've been thinking about this place ever since, when I thought about where to go on a hike, where to go looking for a waterfall or a mountain or color. I thought of this place. So here I am. We're going to see what happens here. I'm excited. I'm very excited to be here. And as always, it's a little chit chat, some scenery, and at the end, hopefully there'll be some photographs to show. All right, onward I go. So here we go. So it's not actually raining, it's a little damp, and the trail is quite wet, and the leaves are slippery. So I'm going to have to be mindful of slippery leaves and slippery rocks and roots. But I think it'll be fine. So here I am, just about as high as I can get on this trail. It's not quite the cascading waterfalls I remember from the last time I was here, but I guess it depends on the time of year and how much rainfall there's been. And of course there's not much snowfall melting in October, but it's beautiful nonetheless. I'm going to probably go down to the next level and get some still photos. It is beautiful here. So yeah, I'm going to go down to the next level and get a better view of the colors and the riverbed. Here we go. I'm a little too old to be doing this. It's okay. So I'm not exactly sure what to make of this trip. There's not as much color here as there was in New Hampshire. And it's a little bit soggy. And the trail, what could be pretty leaf patterns on the trail are really just sort of muddy messes. I didn't find the waterfall I was looking for, but there's some pretty leaves off the trail. They're wet and they're saturated with color. Beech trees, I believe. Here I can come up behind and get the light coming through and get the veins of these leaves. I can get the camera to focus on that. There we go. I think I'll put it on manual focus for this one. And get up. I just love this manual focus aid that Canon gives us. So handy, especially with these old eyes. I'm disappointed about the waterfall, but the weekend is young. I still have most of tomorrow. Well, half of tomorrow. Okay, off I go. Down, 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 down. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. What goes up must come down. So I found a little peephole here, and it doesn't give me as much context as I'd like because these tree branches are in the way. So I'm going to have to shoot tight down into the rocks. Not exactly what I want here. There's a possibility, small possibility, that I might set up a long exposure here. What the heck? I came all this way, I may as well do it. All right. So yeah, I'm headed out, and I do have mixed feelings about this trip. So many things were not what I expected, especially the water and my memory of it. But sometimes our expectations can be very tricky because we sometimes end up with something great, even though it's not what we particularly wanted. But the one thing I am very happy about is the fact that I love this pack. I've got several lenses, lots of gear back there, and I was able to navigate this uphill climb on slippery roots, slippery leaves, slippery rocks. I spent some time scrambling around down next to the riverbank on steep terrain, and I didn't break anything, so I'm very glad about that. I'm pleased that I can still get around and I can still navigate, even in kind of tough terrain. Okay, I'm out.